on the front page of today's New York Times, we've got a story that perfectly illustrates one of my favorite investable long-term themes, the embrace of healthy eating, especially by the younger generation. The headline reads, you got it, obesity rate for young children plummets 43% in a decade. The Times piece is about kids who are super young, 2 to 5 years old. And while it cites a bunch of government initiatives as potential explanations, I think the real reason for the decline in early childhood obesity is simple. The young parents of these young kids are extremely conscious about what's wrong with the food chain in this country, so they're more careful about what they feed their children. Now, I write about this healthy theme, particularly the organic and natural aspect of it, and Get Rich Carefully, and I think it will be a long-term moneymaker. I'm talking years to come. But long-term trends can run into short-term stumbling blocks. And this past quarter, many of the healthy eating names were put through the meat grinder. I'm talking, hey, Whole Foods, Hayden Celestial, Fresh Market, name a few. However, there's been one terrific standout in the group. Company that managed to overcome the weakness in the rest of the sector. I'm talking about WhiteWave, WWAV, the maker of organic milk, coffee creamers, and especially non-dairy alternatives like soy and almond milk-based products, which spun off from Dean Foods about 60 months ago. What a value creator. WhiteWave reported a couple of weeks ago, the company delivered a 2-cent earnings beat off a 20-cent basis, higher than expected revenues, 11.5% year-over-year, double-digit. Stock jumped nearly 10%, of course, in the news, hasn't looked back since. Now, WhiteWave has given us a 30% gain since we last spoke to the CEO back in November. It's rallied 65% since it became public in October 2012. I would not be surprised if it's got a lot more room to go. So let's check in with Gregg Engles. He's the chairman and CEO of WhiteWave. Learn more about what his company's headed, where he's going. Mr. Engles, welcome back to Man Money. Congratulations on the job you have done.
Thank you so much.
Have a seat.
Thanks for having me back.
No, I think we did pick a great day because when we see this obesity story, this is about you, isn't it? This is about your company.
It is a little bit about us. But really, I think it's about the broader societal consciousness about the food that we eat.
And yeah, let's start there because I have very little time because there's so much I want to get to. You say that you have the best kept secret in the world. I want to start there. Horizon Organic, because this is about what we're feeding our kids. This is the 2 to 5.
Absolutely. So I've got 4 little girls at home, right? When Lily sits down at the dinner table, she wants to eat something that's savory and is delicious, and mac and cheese is a staple of families with kids. But now we have a chance to bring something to, that mom who's trying to feed her family that's all organic ingredients or made with organic cheese that's better for them, where they can really feel good about getting their kids to eat something that's nutritious, filling them up, giving them the fuel that they need, but doing it in a way that is really great for them for the long run.
Gregg, can't this brand be on aisle after aisle after aisle in my supermarket?
It's going to be interesting to see where Horizon can grow.
Okay.
It is a very powerful brand. Moms trust it. And I think we're going to make sure that we maintain that trust by putting it on things that are really family and kid meal and snack occasion centric products. But we're going to learn where this brand can go over time.
Okay, the other story that I think is huge since we talked last, I've been buying your stuff at the natural food store. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know. Earthbound. This is maybe, I think, the greatest brand name in the produce aisle. How big can this be?
Well, it's growing way into the teens on a consistent basis. So this business, this brand is a powerful brand because it is truly authentic. It is far and away the leader in the organic salad and vegetable space. And what it gives us is the opportunity to to go into an area of the store, the produce section, where mom wants to shop. It's fresh. She feels great about bringing things home from the produce section and feeding them to her kids. But there's always the opportunity with mom to do some of the work for her. So we've got great innovation coming with our Power Meal Bowls, where you've got all the ingredients for a savory salad that you might get at a really nice restaurant, all organic ingredients. She can put that on the table. Everything's done. Fantastic food. There's just a tremendous amount of room to run in this area.
Because when I see this, I think snackables, but not packaged food, processed snackables. I see the kinds of things that moms are going to be putting in their kids' lunchbox in the future.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about the one that is just growing by leaps and bounds. It has not quit. Silk almond, faster than we saw last time. How can this brand be accelerating?
It's sourcing volume from a gigantic category. The milk business, the fluid milk business, drinking milk used on cereals, that's a $25 billion category. This category is around $1 billion, right? So small movements in consumers away from these gigantic traditional categories towards the way I think people are going to eat in the future has a huge impact on companies like us.
Right? And it turned out that a lot of people were worried about almonds, but you're not sourced in Sacto, you're not in Central Valley, you're in Salinas. You got all the water you need.
Well, we're in Salinas for the salads. We're in great shape there, by the way.
But
my guys call me it's raining today in Salinas, so that's good news for everybody in the agricultural business. But, you know, we have seen this almond thing coming. It's been big. We've sourced almonds out through the middle of 2014. We're pretty well covered, but they need rain in Central California.
Okay.
No question.
All right. Now, I always hesitate to bring this up because it could be so huge, and I don't want people to think I'm trying to make a story out of nothing. But this China joint venture, we know that their food chain is completely despoiled there. We know that your brand's the best brand in the world. What could the joint venture mean?
I've said this several times about China. If China lives up to our expectations, it could be the biggest part of the value of this business. Now, we have great...
A lot of people talk about China, you know, Coach bag and the Nike. You're talking about this could be that big for you.
So China has the aspirations that every nation has for its people. And one of those is to give them as high quality a diet and as much nutrition as possible. But they have a huge population, so moving people up the nutritional food chain really means moving them into more and more protein at some level, right? That's how they get the fuel that they need. And the Chinese have gone down the path of moving into dairy and more meat in their diet, but they're just confronting limits on their global supply chain at some level. This suite of products, the Silk suite of products, offers a fantastic way to high-grade the diet of the Chinese and many other emerging parts in the world that is much more sustainable, much more cost-effective, and I think will be increasingly the way that we eat all over the world into the future. So we're really excited about the China opportunity.
Last question, how are you going to stay independent? These other guys have no growth at all. You're the source of all growth. You could make the difference for all these companies that we used to love, and brands that have shrunk. How are you going to stay independent?
Well, I think we stay independent by continuing to deliver and show people the value that can be created in a WhiteWave Foods. You know, if you take that and you dilute it into a larger company, it just won't make as big an impact.
No, and it won't make as much money for shareholders. You've been amazing, by far the best performer in the whole supermarket. Congratulations, Gregg.
Thank you so much.
Great work. That's Gregg Engles. He's Chairman, CEO of WhiteWave. Look at this. This is the future. Stay with Cramer.